Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. Glad to welcome you to the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. And traditionally, we start our day with,
Media Center. We start our day with a traditional press briefing of the ATO spokesperson, Colonel Andriy Lysenko.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The terrorists continue to provocatively shell and fire at the positions of Ukrainian military, violating the regime of ceasefire, and they get and they're being repelled. Over the last 24 hours, except mortars and grenade launchers, the gunmen have used tanks and multiple launchers, Grads, to shell Donetsk airport and strongholds of the anti-terrorist operation zones at the delineation borderline. And the situation remains tense in Donetsk, Luhansk, and Mariupol directions. As a result of combat action over the last 24 hours, we lost 1 Ukrainian military and 8 got wounded. The Ukrainian military continued to train. The artillery men who are defending Mariupol have successfully conducted their regular practical training, and they have destroyed the objects which were meant to be destroyed, and they are ready to repel the enemy. The security service of Ukraine continues to establish identities of terrorists and their abettors, and the operatives have established identities of 2 citizens of Ukraine who, at the instruction of the gunmen of the illegal armed formation DNR, have transported and stored the arms for terrorist acts against peaceful population. In the underground storage of those criminals which was situated in Artemivsk district of Donetsk region, Kalashnikov submachine guns were confiscated, also grenade launchers of different models, ammunition, hand grenades, rounds of ammunition for small firearms, topographical maps of Slovyansk and Brovinkove, and lists of monitors of the OSCE. In Krasnoarmeysk, Donetsk region, a terrorist was detained who was collecting and passing on the information for the gunmen of the DNR about location and movement of the personnel and the military machinery of their Ukrainian armed forces. And the counterintelligence have also detected another terrorist from the bandit group in Leshy who underwent military training on the territory of Russian Federation and was engaged in armed attacks at the positions of Ukrainian military. Because of the shellings and firings from the terrorists, the security service of Ukraine have temporarily stopped the crossing of individuals and vehicles in the directions of Fashivka, Debaltsevo, Artemivsk, Gorlivka, Artemivsk, from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Donetsk, Kurakhove, Donetsk, Mariupol, 15:30 to 16:45. There are 4 transit points of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine in Donetsk region, in the vicinity of towns Krasnoarmeysk and Mariupol, in Luhansk region, in the vicinity of towns Svatov and Lysychansk. The volunteers have passed on to the armed forces of Ukraine another batch of help collected in different nooks of the country, including sleeping bags, special clothes, warm things, and footwear for the military, and the aggregate weight of the cargo amounts to a ton and a half. Besides, a new ambulance was given to the Ukrainian military. The policemen of Kherson have collected help assistance for 6 families of internally displaced persons from Luhansk region who bring up 13 kids. They have brought to the IDPs warm things, toys, personal hygiene, goods, food and money. Besides, the servicemen of the company Svites of police in Volyn region have brought to schools and kindergartens of one of the cities in Donetsk region sweets, books, and developing games. 1 ton of children's clothes and food were sent to the children of Luhansk region through the crossing point next to the settlement Artemivsk. In Odessa port, a seagoing vessel with humanitarian cargo from Canada for the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine arrived, 42 containers with military equipment. Also, 6 railway carriages of humanitarian cargo food came to Severodonetsk in Luhansk region from Republic of Kazakhstan. This cargo will be partially distributed on the liberated territories of Luhansk region, and also part of the cargo will be sent to Donetsk and Luhansk through the crossing point Krakivets, Lviv region. 5 lorries with humanitarian cargo, amounting to 67 tons, were allowed to go into Ukraine. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? If there are no questions, then thank you very much. Thank you. We will meet tomorrow at 12:30 for the next briefing of Colonel Lysenko.